Welcome to Pressure Points. I'm Gene Munster. Our topic today is OpenAI's DevDay that took place a couple days ago. The significance of it is meaningful, and given we're going to be talking about this for months to come, it is still relevant to have a conversation about what the key takeaways were. And before we get into it, I want to mention I, along with most people who are following the storyline, agree that OpenAI is the most exciting tech company. That is a high bar in my book, given I think of things like Apple and what they're doing with Vision Pro and spatial computing, which will be out March-ish of next year, what Tesla's doing with autonomy, which will be out, let's say, March-ish of 2026. And ultimately, if anything comes out of Optimus Prime, we'll call that 2030. But what is unique about what OpenAI is doing, those products and innovations are happening today. So that's why it reaches the criteria for pressure points. And before we get into the 3 pressure points, I want to mention too is that after the event, there's been some criticism of ChatGPT relative to hallucinations. And these, of course, are relatively common amongst generative AI. They happen anywhere from 10 to 20% of the queries. You'll get some noise in the data. And my sense is, well, it makes good theater in the near term. It really doesn't matter in the long term. In 1, 3, or 5 years from now, these models are going to become so much more advanced, the frequency of hallucinations will be insignificant. And so I'm able to look past those and look at what the 3 pressure points were from the DevDay. And the first was GPT Builder, and this is available today. This basically allows people who are less technical to build a generative chatbot. And the idea is the last 9 months, most of the action around what's going on with chatbots has been from larger companies that have more advanced developers. And what GPT Builder will allow is for less technical people, maybe even regular people, to do this. And they demoed it, and it had an interface that was drag and drop or check a box that allows you to relatively easy train a model off of a document that you may have, and then basically create this, and then you would add that model to a website. The use case may be, think of a company that maybe sells cleaning supplies, and they have questions that they get from people about how to get different kinds of stains out. Today they message with a person through a bot. These smaller companies may not have the resources to build a big chatbot like Clorox might, but they can do this now by just essentially training the bot off of a manual that the regular people are using today. Exciting opportunity really to add more generative bots to the masses. The second was GPT Store. And the idea here is that OpenAI is going to have a platform where you can download code. Typically it would be like a link that you'd insert in a website, and you'd pay for that, and then OpenAI would take a revenue cut and the developer takes a cut. And I haven't been able to figure out what the revenue split is, but my guess is it's going to be more favorable to the developer than what Apple has talked about, just because they tend to be more, OpenAI tends to be more developer friendly. And so I think that that is important in itself. But beyond the idea that they're opening up an app store, again, this is mostly going to be for browser based. Beyond that, I think it begs a bigger question, which is, what is OpenAI going to do in the hardware space? And just like when Apple came out with the phone and then later came out with the App Store to really unlock the value of the phone, I think there's an opportunity for ChatGPT to come out with these models and then also follow up with some hardware, whether it's a phone or a computer, a tablet, or even licensing some of the ability to interact with their bots to other devices, a refrigerator, a toaster, a car, to be able to license that, similar to what Apple did with the Made for I program. That ability is a new revenue opportunity for OpenAI. And I want to also stress that I don't see OpenAI wanting to compete directly with Apple. I could see them coming out with a phone, a computer, a tablet, as I mentioned, but I don't think that they want to dominate the market share. This is a similar roadmap. Doug Clinton from Deepwater and I were just discussing this opportunity for companies like OpenAI to take a page out of Google's book when they came out with Nexus. This was even before the Pixel, to try to really show the best case, the hero case around what a phone could do, show Samsung what they can do. I think OpenAI has an opportunity to do that later. So the second pressure point is related to the store, ChatGPT Store, and what that ultimately means for what OpenAI may do in hardware. And the third was epiphany Mike Olson from our team had when we were watching the DevDay. And at one point there was a demo for this work automation tool, Zapier. And the woman that was demoing the product showed she was on a Mac and she was inside Google Chrome browser, and that was connected to Azure and running a ChatGPT chatbot. And it just dawned on us, like, snap that frame, like, this is how you invest in AI today. Essentially, these big companies, I mean, their grip that they've had on us for the last 10 plus years, it's already starting and already early when it comes to AI. And so I think those companies are well positioned. Deepwater, we do own Google, and I think there's just an opportunity for these big companies to continue, like it or not, to have an outsized benefit, at least in the near term, when it comes to AI. So those are the three pressure points from DevDay. It's a lot of fun, and this is a topic that's going to keep giving, so we'll be back reporting more on it. On behalf of Deepwater, I'm Gene. Bye for now.